Hello everyone, my name is Anuj Khanna and I'm a faculty member at Time Education Pune Center, and I train a student for quantitative aptitude, data interpretation and logical reasoning section for the competitive examinations like CAT, IFT, ZAT, SNAP and NMAT. Now many students are asking us a common question: how exactly we need to prepare in the next 6 to 7 months so that we can get a very good score and get our dream college. So we decided to post this video which will benefit all of you so that you can understand what exactly you need to do in the next 6 months, how to utilize the next 6 months and get a very good score in a competitive examination. Now when we are talking about the next 6 months, let's divide it in 2 or 3 different phases. For example, the very first phase is in the month of May and June, what we need to do. So my dear friends, in the month of May and June, in order to clear the examination, we need to work on our basics. Now everybody is going to tell you that your basics has to be really very clear when you are going for any competitive exam. But nobody has told you what basic you need to clear and what exactly do we mean by basic. See, we know that 2 plus 2 is 4, but are they going to ask 2 plus 2 is what in the CAT examination? Everybody knows that distance is equal to speed into time, and this is a very simple phenomena, but based on this particular topic, time, speed and distance, the CAT has managed to design over 100 variety of the question. So when we say basic, they are divided in different categories. The very first thing is your formulae have to be very strong, which you can get from the books. But at the same time, the application of those formulae is really very important for us. That is what we are training you for. That is what we cover in the classes. In every single class, we teach you, whenever we are teaching you any formula, how exactly that formula is applied and also what are the restrictions of that formula, because in the competitive examination, sometimes the questions are designed based on the restriction of that. So over the years of experience, we have learned what is the variety of the question that these people design and how exactly we need to crack them. In order to crack these examinations, when you are learning for basic, you need to follow a chronological order. You need to learn the basic in such a way that every chapter is linked to the next one. And you must have seen in our classes, we teach you percentages before the simple and compound interest or profit and loss because they are interrelated. So we understand that that correlation has to be present. In the exact same way, whenever we are learning data interpretation, before that we cover percentages for you for the same reason. Once we know the basics, we can tackle those questions. Now people think that percentages is such a simple topic. When we are calculating 20% of one particular parameter, it's so easy to do it. If it is so easy, why do we consider the competitive examinations like CAT to be so difficult? Or why the cutoffs for the top colleges is merely 50 to 60% of the paper? That is what we need to understand. In each and every class, we teach you what exactly is the meaning of a difficult question or a simple question based on the same concept. That is what we mean when we say in the month of May and June, you need to clear up your basic, to go through the formula and also to learn those applications. At the same time, we have seen many students do come to me and tells me, sir, we have finished this chapter, and then I ask them, what is the meaning of finishing that chapter? So many people do misunderstand this, that finishing a chapter means we have solved all the question to get the answer. But that is not the purpose. That is not what we are training you for. We are not training you for getting the answer. What we exactly need to understand is how to get the approach towards that question. So answer may or may not be very important at this point of time, but when we say basic, that means the approach of that question. And when you don't have a better approach, you can always meet any faculty member. That is the advantage of having an interactive classes, that you can talk to a live person who has written CAT before this and who can tell you how exactly we need to tackle that question. Or I don't want to use X in the equation. I can just look at the equation, give you the answer, or I can give you the answer just by looking at the options. I can teach you how to identify the option, or we can teach you how exactly we need to understand how to eliminate the option. See, the elimination of the option is equally important. That is again is the meaning of basics here. Once you are thorough with that, once you think that your basics are clear, you need to make sure that you keep revising those basics over an interval of time. And you can also attend the revision classes or the test classes to do the same. Now, once you're done with that, you can move on to the second stage, that is testing. Whatever you have done, can you apply that in the actual mock test, which is a perfect replica of the actual coming exam, which gives you an idea what is your strongest region and what is your gray area. Now, if you find that, let us say, the topic of algebra is a gray area, the very first thing that you need to do is contact your faculty member, make an appointment, and try to understand how to work on that. What concept is troubling you, we can help you in the same. That is the very first thing that you need to be doing. Then after that, you work on that area, you try to improvise it as much as possible. Now, many people have this idea that if the topic is too difficult for me, can I leave that topic? So my dear friends, they have absolutely no clue from which topic suddenly they will give us the questions. So you need to be thorough with each and everything. Although, when we will reach to the very last stage, that is the strategy, there we will discuss that some of the questions may or may not be attempted. It's perfect for the competitive exam. But coming back to the test. See, whenever you are writing any mock test, one of the very important thing that you need to do is analyze the test. For the past 5 to 6 years, what we exactly are doing is, we give a test to a student, and based on his performance, we try to tell the student exactly where you need to improvise, and we do it in certain different parameters. So based on his experience and based on our experience, we try to bridge the gap between his current score and between his future score that he desires. At the same time, whenever you are writing any test, you need to identify what are the easier questions, what are the difficult questions. Now this is a tricky part. Some people think that just because everybody is saying this is an easy question and I find it to be difficult, what should I consider there? Now please remember, when you need to identify an easy question or a difficult question, it is purely your perspective. You find the question to be easy, it is up to you. If you find that question to be difficult, that is again your perspective and whether you are familiar with that topic or not. Now, when we are learning basics and we are going through the testing phase, one of the very important thing is we are doing both of this to get familiar with the questions. Please remember, whenever we are teaching you in any of the class, we are not using the same question again and again. Every time we are changing the variety of the question so that you get familiar with different caselets, with different data sets. Especially when we are talking about data interpretation and logical reasoning. Because every caselet has a uniqueness attached to it, hence it should be approached in a very, very different way. That is why we have kept the handouts in such a particular way that every caselet is different from other. We are trying to cover all the topics which was asked in the previous year. That is where our experience plays a major role. Whenever we are writing the examination, we are gaining an experience how exactly the questions are designed, and that is what we are trying to teach you. So when we are learning these kind of basics, you need to get familiar with the different fundamentals and with the different question, and that comes through practice. Now when we are talking about practice, there are 3 ways of practicing. First, of course, practicing with the classes. Second, when you go home, you can make a study group, practice with your friends. And third practice is again with a faculty member as a doubt session. If you are not comfortable with any topic, then we'll discuss it in detail. Now, once you are familiar with the basics and you went through the testing phase, then in the month of October and November, the last few days towards the competitive examination, you should focus on the strategy of how to write this examination. The key idea behind this particular thing is we require a strategy to CAT the exam. So you need to remember that exams are a competitive examination. There is no passing marks. You have to score better than others in order to get a very good college, in order to get an interview call from these colleges. And how should you score better than others? It's solely depending upon your strategy. And each and everything is related to one single item, that is time management. You need to understand how much time you need to give to one question in order to crack it. Now suppose if you are going by the fundamental way, that is making an equation of 10 lines, please contact us. We may give you the answer in 5 lines, maybe in 2 lines. Maybe those lines are not absolutely required. That is what we need to learn. So that is it from my side. Have a nice day.